Hey guys, Jamie here, New England Haunter. Welcome back. I hope everybody's had a great start to their summer. It's been crazy hot and humid here. This week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it literally hit 100 degrees. Today, Thursday, it was a beautiful day. Today, we're actually in the 70s. So wherever you guys are at, I hope you're having great weather and you're enjoying yourselves. Before we get started on today's video, I do want to say this out loud. A lot of people may be wondering right now is, do we really need another DIY tombstone tutorial video? No, that's not what this video is. This video is assuming that you know how to build a tombstone, but you may not be a master carver or own a Dremel tool or know how to work one or even know what a Dremel tool is. I'm going to show you guys how to do some pretty cool stuff with a tombstone without having to do any of that. So if that's something you guys are interested in, stick around. I'm calling this one DIY Halloween Tombstone Hack. Let's do this.
Step right up, come on in, join the show, it's about to begin.
This tombstone may look familiar to a lot of you. It's been in a lot of my haunt update videos as well as my recent Monster Mud and Dry Lock video. And the only thing I carved on this tombstone was the epitaph. I'm going to show you guys how I did this. This angel was a thrift store find. I believe it's made of either like a resin or a plaster. Extremely ugly when I found it. Pastel like blues and pinks. And yeah, I just painted it with a gray primer. Here's a shot of the original shape that I came up with for this. This is a Home Depot, pink foam panel. The black pieces on top, those are actually EVA foam. Those are 3 separate pieces that I cut out and stacked up, to give it that carved look. And those hockey puck looking pieces on both the left and right sides are actually floral foam pieces. You can find those at any hobby shop. Now here you can see I added the vertical pieces down both sides. Those are separate EVA foam like rods. You can get those at any hobby shop. I think they come in packs of 3. They're just a few dollars. And that piece on the bottom is a piece of wood trim. Just be sure you seal that up with some type of a clear coat. So here's the final version. I'm just about to apply dry lock on this. I would like to mention that I use Gorilla Glue for everything on my tombstones to apply these pieces as well as put the tombstones themselves together. It works great. And here's a shot of the first coat that I did of the dry lock. If you guys have worked with dry lock with tombstones in the past, you know that you normally have to put at least a couple coats on. And if I remember correctly, that was the final coat that I did on that. You can see as well I did add the base on that, all made of foam. So let's build another one. Check out this awesome thrift store find. I tried to find something purposely gaudy just to show you guys how cool you can make it if you think outside the box. So this is going to look really cool in a tombstone. I also found this at the thrift store. You occasionally see this type of thing on top of tombstones. It kind of resembles an urn, I guess, but yeah, it should look pretty cool. And I found the leftover EVA foam from that last tombstone project, so we're going to be using this too. So this is what we have to work with. I've actually cleaned them both pretty good, and I'm actually going to hit these with primer. All right, one down, and we're going to move on to this statue. I need to remove that metal thing on the back, so I'm just going to use a pair of needle nose to try and break that off. So what do you guys think? Much better? Looks totally awesome to me. Hopefully you can kind of picture now what this may look like on a tombstone. Big difference. So here's the actual tombstone that I threw together. I had some scrap pieces behind my shed that had been there for a few years. I used that. I did put an epitaph in. I just carve out with a razor blade. I also cut this little area out here because I'd like that statue to sit in there. I did this with gluing 1/2 inch on to a 1.5 inch piece to make it nice and flat behind where the statue is going to go. So here's a piece of that EVA foam. I made a pattern and I cut this out, just something I kind of made up. That will be glued right here on the top. And to my surprise, I found some of these EVA rods in my basement. I didn't realize I had them. So I'm going to be gluing these down both sides, sort of like how I did on the previous Tombstone. So here it is the next day, everything's dry. I apologize off camera. I did add that cross. I just realized it needed something in that area. So I just cut that out of EVA foam and glued it the same way. And I also added the base to it as well. So next I'm going to be gluing that little urn on top. Again, I'm using Gorilla Glue for this. And next we're going to do the statue. Now this is starting to come together. If you can envision this all painted gray with with a dry lock, it's going to be pretty cool. I'm actually pretty pleased with this. All right, so on to painting. I always start with the epitaph first. If you have an epitaph, I think most people probably do. That's just a latex paint that I happen to have in my shop. I don't think it really matters what you use. And yeah, just be patient, take your time, and any small mistakes you make, you can always fix after you dry lock it. You can go back and touch it up again if need be. And on to dry lock. I hate dry lock. I've said it before, it's like painting with gloppy oatmeal. And today the weather's odd because it's chilly out. That's why I am wearing a sweatshirt. But it's like really wet. It's humid, so it's the paint isn't really cooperating with me. It's kind of taking longer to get coverage in certain areas. I don't know about you guys, but I always find that first coat of dry lock is always kind of difficult to get on. And once you go back to touch things up and do the second and third coat, it seems to go on much easier. And guys, what do you think? I mean, this is basically what it's going to look like. Again, I do have to do a couple more coats. I will have to touch up the epitaph. And I will ultimately go back with some acrylics and do some really cool weathering on it. But again, being so humid here, this is going to take some time to fully cure. So I'll probably end up doing an update video for this. But yeah, that's how it turned out. I think it looks pretty sweet. If you stuck with me, guys, I'm hoping that you picked up some cool tips and tricks from this video. I do want to mention just a couple things. If you guys are going to use any wood, like I did on my first example, or even wood lettering, if you guys don't want to be carving an epitaph in, you can take wood lettering and you can just glue that on your tombstone and it looks awesome. Just keep in mind that you will have to seal that wood or it will rot. You're going to get moisture in it. I use a spray primer for just about everything, front to back, top to bottom. Just make sure that that's sealed up, and you shouldn't run into any issues. It should last you for quite some time. Thanks so much for hanging out, guys. I really appreciate you. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.